Hold on, pause everything. Because the woman who practically invented the phrase, "let me clear this up," has just done the unthinkable. Karlissa? Yes. That Karlissa has announced she is officially done talking about Chrisean rock. No more commentary, no more reactions, no more live sessions dissecting every breath. She says she's stepping back. And she's happy for her. Happy since when did this saga turn into a Hallmark movie? This is the same feud that had social media in a chokehold, timelines in shambles, and bloggers refreshing their pages like their rent depended on it. And now we're supposed to believe it's just over. Let's be serious for a second. When someone who thrives in the center of the storm suddenly declares peace, that's not random. That's not casual. That's calculated. This isn't just "I'm moving on." This feels like the kind of announcement you make when something big happened behind the scenes. Because Karlissa doesn't whisper, she broadcasts. She doesn't tiptoe. She stomps. So when the loudest voice in the room goes quiet, you don't clap. You lean in. You squint. You ask questions. And the internet? Oh, the internet is confused. Some are cheering. Some are suspicious. Others are convinced this is just intermission before the next explosive episode. Because let's face it, this storyline has had more twists than a Netflix crime series. And now the main commentator is claiming she's retired from the narrative. Either maturity just did the impossible, or we're about to witness the calm before a Category 5 drama hurricane. Stay with me, because this silence, it's louder than anything she's ever said. Now let's unpack how we even got here. Because this didn't happen in a vacuum. Karlissa and Chrisean Rock have not exactly been exchanging holiday cards. Their dynamic has been more like a never-ending reality show reunion special where nobody ever leaves the stage. For the longest time, Karlissa had something to say about everything. If Chrisean posted, Karlissa reacted. If Chrisean cried on Live, Karlissa analyzed it. If there was a rumor floating around, Karlissa was either confirming it, denying it, or flipping it upside down with her own twist. It wasn't subtle. It wasn't quiet. It was loud, bold, and front row center. And let's be honest, the internet ate it up. Every clip turned into blog headlines. Every live stream became TikTok snippets. Every comment section looked like a digital boxing ring. Fans chose sides like it was the Super Bowl of family drama. Team Karlissa, Team Chrisean, Team. Everybody needs therapy. The tension wasn't just background noise, it was content fuel. It kept timelines buzzing at 3 a.m. It kept reaction channels busy. It kept the gossip ecosystem alive, and well, that's so when Karlissa suddenly sits up straight and says, "I'm done speaking on Chrisean." I'm happy for her. It doesn't just land softly, it echoes, because this isn't a minor character exiting stage left. This is a central voice in the entire narrative choosing silence. And silence from someone known for speaking freely feels strategic. Think about it. Over the past months, the drama reached levels that made basic celebrity feuds look like kindergarten arguments. There were interviews. There were social media rants. There were emotional breakdowns broadcast to thousands of viewers. There were moments that felt raw, messy, unfiltered. And through all of it, Karlissa never appeared hesitant to weigh in. She spoke with conviction. She defended her perspective. She questioned motives. She challenged narratives. That's why this pivot feels dramatic. Because public personalities don't just flip a switch overnight. When someone who has been vocal for this long suddenly claims peace, people start asking, what changed? Did a private conversation happen? Did someone draw a boundary? Did a family meeting take place behind closed doors where everyone finally said, enough? Or, and here's where it gets interesting, did Karlissa realize the tide of public opinion was shifting? Let's talk about that for a second. The internet can be loyal, but it can also be ruthless. One week you're applauded for speaking your truth. The next week you're accused of dragging it. Social media has the attention span of a goldfish and the judgment of a courtroom. If enough voices start saying the commentary feels repetitive or unnecessary, that noise gets loud fast. And maybe, just maybe, stepping back isn't surrender, it's repositioning. Because here's the truth about staying relevant in the digital age, sometimes the most powerful move isn't saying more, it's saying less. Karlissa's announcement wasn't explosive, it wasn't emotional, it wasn't wrapped in sarcasm or side eyes. It was calm, almost polished. She emphasized that she's happy for Chrisean. She made it clear she doesn't want to keep revisiting the same subject. She implied growth. And that word, growth, hits differently when it comes from someone who's been in the center of ongoing controversy. But let's not pretend this story doesn't have layers. 1-2 personalities are publicly intertwined through family drama, relationship tension, and online commentary. Their narratives become linked whether they like it or not. The audience doesn't just see separate individuals, they see a storyline, and that storyline has been dramatic, unpredictable, and at times explosive. So pulling yourself out of that storyline isn't simple. It's a statement. Some fans are interpreting this as maturity. They're saying Karlissa is choosing peace. They're applauding the decision to stop feeling conflict. They're framing it as a mother stepping back and prioritizing her own energy. Others, not so convinced, skeptics are side-eyeing the timing. They're questioning whether this is permanent or temporary. They're wondering if done speaking really means done for now. Because history has shown that in this particular saga, silence rarely lasts long. And here's the twist. By saying she's done, Karlissa may have actually reignited interest. Because nothing sparks curiosity like a dramatic exit. When someone announces they're leaving the conversation, the first thing people do is talk about it even more. It's ironic. It's messy. It's effective. The blogs picked it up immediately. Reaction pages started dissecting her tone, her facial expressions, her wording. Comment sections filled up with theories. Was she pressured? Was she advised by someone close to her? Is there something bigger happening behind the scenes that the public hasn't seen yet? That's the thing about public drama. It trains audiences to expect hidden chapters. Karlissa knows how this game works. She understands the ecosystem. She knows that every statement carries weight. So if she chose to say she's stepping back, she knew it would create ripples, and maybe that's the point. Because sometimes the latest move isn't an argument. It's restraint. Still, let's not act like this erases everything that came before it. The history is documented, the reactions are archived, the clips are circulating. This storyline has been layered with emotion, sarcasm, frustration, and public debate. You don't just snap your fingers and make that disappear, which is why this moment feels pivotal, not explosive, not chaotic. Pivotal. It's the kind of shift that changes the energy of the entire conversation. If Karlissa truly stays silent about Chrisean moving forward, that alters the dynamic. It removes a major voice from the ongoing public back and forth. It forces the narrative to evolve. Now here's where things get spicy. Because the moment Karlissa announced she was done speaking on Chrisean Rock, the internet did what it does best. It spiraled. Within minutes, reaction channels were uploading thumbnails with shocked faces so dramatic you'd think aliens had landed. Bloggers were typing like their keyboards were on fire. Comment sections turned into conspiracy theory headquarters. Because when someone known for weekly commentary suddenly clocks out, people don't say growth. They say, who made that phone call? And let's talk about timing. Karlissa didn't quietly fade into the background during a calm period. No, she stepped back when the narrative was still hot. That's like leaving a cookout right when the grill finally gets going. Suspicious, maybe strategic, possibly coincidence. The internet doesn't believe in those. Some fans immediately praised her. Finally, peace. This is mature. Let everyone move on. They framed it like a Disney redemption arc, character growth, emotional evolution, a new chapter. But the skeptics, they had PowerPoint presentations ready. They're asking if legal teams got involved. They're whispering about private conversations. They're speculating about network influence, brand image management. and family negotiations happening behind closed doors. Because in the world of public drama, silence rarely comes without paperwork or persuasion. And here's the twist. By announcing she's done, Karlissa accidentally created a brand new wave of content. Memes started flooding timelines. One meme showed someone saying, "I'm done arguing," followed by them arguing 5 minutes later. Another had dramatic music with captions like "season finale energy." People were joking that this was just intermission before the mid-season return. Because let's be honest, this saga has conditioned the audience to expect plot twists. And what makes it even more fascinating is how divided the reaction has been. Some viewers are genuinely hopeful. They're tired of the back and forth. They want stability. They want less chaos. They want the energy to shift into something healthier. Others, they don't trust it. Not because they hate Karlissa, not because they're anti-growth, but because this storyline has been loud for so long that silence feels unnatural. Unnatural. It feels like watching a reality show where the main cast member suddenly decides to meditate instead of argue. Admirable, yes. Believable. The jury's still out. And then there's the cultural layer. In the age of social media, drama equals visibility. Visibility equals engagement. Engagement equals influence. So when someone voluntarily steps away from a headline-generating dynamic, that's a risk because attention is currency online. Walking away from it can either elevate your image or remove you from the spotlight. Karlissa isn't new to this. She understands that commentary keeps her relevant. So if she's choosing to step back, that decision likely wasn't random. It could be image recalibration. It could be personal fatigue. It could be a shift in priorities. Or, and this is where it gets interesting, it could be a power move. Because sometimes the most effective way to control a narrative is to stop feeding it. Imagine this. If Karlissa refuses to respond to anything involving Chrisean moving forward, that forces the conversation to change shape. It removes the easy headline formula. It disrupts the predictable cycle of reaction and counter-reaction. That's chess, not checkers. But don't think for a second that public curiosity disappeared. People are analyzing her body language in that announcement. They're replaying her words. They're dissecting tone like it's a courtroom transcript. Did she sound pressured? Did she seem emotional? Was there sarcasm hidden in there? The internet is a forensic lab when it wants to be. Meanwhile, others are comparing this shift to iconic pop culture pivots. This is like when a rapper announces retirement. Someone joked, "Give it 6 months." Another said, "This is the PR cleanse era." And let's talk about the irony. By claiming she's done speaking on Chrisean, Karlissa actually sparked more discussion about Chrisean. Because now the focus isn't just on past drama, it's on the absence of future drama. Silence became the headline. That's powerful. And here's something else worth noting. Public feuds create emotional investment. Audiences pick sides. They defend their favorites. They argue in comment sections like they're on payroll. So when one side declares peace, it disrupts that emotional momentum. It leaves people unsettled because chaos, as exhausting as it can be, is entertaining, and that's the uncomfortable truth. Drama drives clicks, tension fuels engagement, conflict keeps algorithms happy. When someone voluntarily removes themselves from that equation, it changes the digital energy. Now, does that mean Karlissa will never mention Chrisean again? That's the million-dollar question. History tells us public dynamics are unpredictable. Statements get revised, boundaries get tested, circumstances evolve. But this moment, this announcement, feels different because of how deliberate it sounded. It wasn't defensive. It wasn't explosive. It was measured. And that calmness is what has everyone on edge. Because when someone known for fire suddenly becomes water, you don't just applaud. You watch, you wait, you wonder what caused the transformation. Is it peace? Is it strategy? Is it exhaustion? Or is it simply the realization that some battles aren't worth repeating publicly? Whatever the reason, one thing is clear: the internet isn't ready to move on just yet. They're watching closely. they're waiting for the next live stream. They're refreshing pages like detectives monitoring a suspect, because if this truly is the end of Karlissa speaking on Chrisean, it marks a major shift in one of social media's most talked about family sagas. Now let's talk about consequences. Because whether this silence is permanent or temporary, it changes the atmosphere. For years, Karlissa has been one of the loudest external commentators in the Chrisean narrative. Her perspective wasn't just background noise, it shaped conversations. It influenced how fans interpreted situations. It added fuel when things were already on fire. So when that voice pulls back, the energy shifts immediately. And here's what's interesting. The absence of commentary forces the spotlight to reposition itself. Without Karlissa reacting, criticizing, or clarifying, the narrative becomes quieter, but also more exposed. There's no secondary voice amplifying tension. No back and forth dynamic keeping the storyline active. If this silence sticks, Chrisean's public journey moves forward without that familiar echo in the background. That's significant, because whether people admit it or not, conflict creates momentum. It keeps both sides visible. It keeps engagement high. It keeps blogs writing and fans debating. Remove one key player, and suddenly the entire structure feels different. Now let's talk image. For Karlissa, this move could actually elevate her reputation. Choosing peace publicly reframes her brand. Instead of being seen as reactive, she positions herself as intentional. Instead of fueling controversy, she appears to be stepping above it. That's a powerful pivot. In the world of online perception, maturity sells just as much as mess, sometimes even more. If she truly sticks to this boundary, people may start viewing her differently. Less as the constant critic, more as someone who knows when to disengage. That's not weakness, that's discipline. But here's the flip side. If even one future comment slips out, one subtle jab, one indirect reference, one reaction clip, the internet will pounce. Because once you announce you're done, you don't get unlimited grace. The audience keeps receipts, screenshots don't expire. And this audience, oh, they remember everything. For Chrisean, this silence creates a different kind of space. Without the constant public commentary from Karlissa, there's less visible friction. That could help stabilize her narrative. It could reduce the appearance of ongoing family tension. It could shift focus toward her own choices, her own growth, her own moves. But it also removes a lightning rod. Because let's be honest, sometimes public tension acts as distraction. When the attention is split between personalities, accountability gets diluted. If Karlissa stays quiet, all eyes stay fixed on Chrisean's independent actions. No more shared spotlight. And that's where things get layered. Public perception is fragile. It evolves quickly. 1 month you're the villain, the next month you're misunderstood. Then suddenly you're praised for growth. This silence has the potential to recalibrate how both women are viewed. Karlissa stepping back might be remembered as the moment she chose strategy over spectacle. Or, if drama resurfaces, it might be remembered as the calm before the loudest chapter yet. Because here's the thing about reality-adjacent sagas. They rarely end cleanly. They pause, they evolve, they rebrand. Sometimes the drama doesn't disappear, it transforms. It shifts platforms, it moves offline, it becomes subtler, or it waits for the perfect viral trigger to explode again. And let's not pretend the internet isn't anticipating that possibility. Fans are watching Karlissa's next moves closely. What does she talk about now? What direction does her content take? Does she lean into positivity, family, personal growth, business, or does another controversy eventually slide into frame? Because silence isn't just the absence of sound, it's anticipation. And in this case, the anticipation feels loud. If Karlissa truly commits to no longer addressing Chrisean, this could mark the closing of one of social media's most exhausting back-and-forth chapters. It would mean a shift from reactive commentary to controlled messaging. From public friction to private boundaries, that's growth. But growth in public is complicated. It requires consistency. It demands restraint. It tests patience, and the internet loves testing patience. One viral moment, one unexpected interview, one emotional live stream. That's all it takes to reopen a storyline people thought was sealed. So while some viewers are celebrating peace, others are waiting for confirmation through time. Because the real proof won't be in the announcement, it'll be in the follow-through. If weeks pass with no mentions, no shade, no reactions, then this pivot becomes real. It becomes a genuine turning point. If not, then we're just in the dramatic pause between episodes. Either way, this moment matters because when someone known for speaking decides to stop, that choice speaks volumes. It signals awareness. It signals calculation. It signals that even in a world addicted to chaos, someone can decide to step away from it. Now listen, if you made it this far, you already know this wasn't just another random internet update. This was a plot twist. This was a character pivot. This was the kind of silence that makes more noise than a live stream meltdown at 3 a.m. So I need to know, do you think Karlissa is really done talking about Chrisean rock? Or is this just the calm before the next viral storm? Is this maturity, strategy, image control? Or are we about to see a sequel nobody asked for but everybody will watch anyway? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. And don't be shy, I read everything. I see the theories. I see the detectives in the comment section building full investigations off of facial expression. Y'all don't miss a thing. And while you're at it, smash that like button like it owes you money. Hit subscribe like the tea depends on it. Because it does around here. We don't wait for the drama to trend. We catch it before it explodes. Scandals don't sleep. Plot twists don't send warnings. And this channel, we stay ready. Turn on those notifications so you don't miss the next headline, the next twist, the next undone that might not actually mean done. Because if this saga taught us anything, it's this: silence is temporary, but the internet is forever. And trust me, when the next chapter drops, you already know where to be. This is Fame Floods, where the spotlight exposes everything.